There are 7 indicators that will tell you and tell me if you are somebody who's capable of building a 7-figure plus business in your heating and air conditioning business. So let's get right into it. Number 1 is you have to accept the facts. Accept the facts about where you're at, accept the facts about what's working and what's not working. And that can be really hard for a lot of people, just to look yourself in the mirror and know that that person staring back at you, they're either performing or they aren't. They're either getting results or they aren't. And if they aren't getting results in some area of your business, just being able to accept the fact that this is not happening for me the way that I'm approaching my business is really hard. You're basically saying, look, I don't know what I don't know. We don't like to admit when we're wrong. We don't like to admit if we're not getting the results we want. We would rather pretend or just go get busy. That's what I did, and we'll get into that. But just go get busy doing what you do know, even though what you do know and what you have been doing isn't providing the results that you actually want. You have to accept the facts, but you also have to be teachable or trainable or coachable. Otherwise, you're not going to let in any new information because you think that your way is the right way, even when your way isn't working. That's why it's so hard. It's so hard because you know so much. Like, I get it. This is how I was. I knew a lot, and I was really, really, really good at my job. But the results that I was getting in my business were not what I actually wanted. So we have to accept the facts. We have to become coachable, become teachable. And if you can't do this, then it's going to be really hard for you to ever get to 7 figures and beyond in your heating and air conditioning business. That brings us to number 2. Number 2 is you have to be able to look back at what you've been doing, what you have done in the past, and just know that everything you've done up until this point, it has no bearing on what's possible for you in the future. We can't sit here and dwell on how many mistakes we've made. We can't think that we're awesome because we made some successes, in certain parts of our lives or certain parts of our business. If at the end of the day, it's kind of like that saying that says, do you want to be right or do you want to get what you want? So we have to understand that being right isn't what it's all cracked up to be. Like if what you think is right is wrong, is actually wrong, then it's not going to get you what you want. So I would rather get what I want than be right. But that was a hard realization to come to. I had to stop looking at what I did in the past and understand that has no bearing on what's possible for the future. And part of that is being able to look and say, this is what I want. So like getting clear, making a decision, understanding that it is possible for me to get what I want. If I want to build a 7-figure business, that's possible for me. If I want to build an 8-figure business or a 9-figure business, you do you, man. If that's what you believe, you absolutely can do it. I have no doubt. I have 100% faith. The question is, do you have faith in that possibility? Because you have to, and you can't look at your past mistakes and let that judge what you're capable of doing in the future. Okay, number 3, one of the toughest things that will determine whether you're going to get to that next level in your business is you have to have an identity shift. Meaning, I was a technician, and that's what I was really good at. And every time I tried to, I had all these people saying, when I actually started searching for answers in my business, then I started finding that, you have to be a business owner. We cannot just be the technician all the time. We got to move into management and then quite possibly the CEO or the entrepreneurial role. And so that's where books that have become so popular, like The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber, that's why it's such a popular book, because he talks about most people they open a business and they just stay in the technician role. Like the technician role is just doing the thing that you're already good at. But the reality is we have to have this identity shift. It all starts in our minds. We have to start picturing ourselves. And this is what happened to me. I started picturing myself. I said, you know what? I'm really a good technician. I'm really good at my job. But you know what? I own a business now. And I need to start thinking and acting and behaving like a business owner. Even though I don't even know what that looks like. I still have to think, act, and behave like a business owner because that's what I am. I'm no longer just a technician. Now I have so many more responsibilities than just a technician. Like I've got other people to consider in my life and in my business. And I've got all these responsibilities now. So I needed to shift my identity. I kept thinking like, how am I going to learn this? How on earth am I going to learn this? But it's kind of like if you want to drive from, I'm in Kansas. So if I want to drive from Kansas to California during the night, like my headlights can only see 100 yards in front of me, right? Or 100 feet in front of me. Well, as long as I have my GPS, my roadmap, which is my roadmap, and I have lights to be able to see the next 100 feet, that's all I need. I can get there. I could take a step towards that. It all comes down to like, you don't have to have every single piece laid out. Now we do have that in the HVAC Millionaire Coaching Program. Like there are fundamental strategies that you implement into your business that give you exponential results or return on your investment for months and quite possibly even a couple of years. Like I'm just being transparent here. I was in and out of the field, in and out of the field, in and out of the field. Every time I got in the office, I didn't know where I should be spending my time. And so when that would happen, I would, as soon as the phone would ring and it's like, oh man, everybody's busy out in the field. So I guess it's going to have to be me. I need to go save the day. So I'd jump in my van, I would go do the call and it was fulfilling. That's fulfilling to me. And it might be fulfilling to you, but back to number two, having or number three, having this identity shift is like, I started to convince myself that I'm no longer a technician. This doesn't always happen overnight. It can happen overnight because it's literally a choice. It's a choice that you're making each and every day. So you have to make the choice. I want to be a business owner, no longer just a technician. Because if we don't make this identity shift, then your success, like building a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure business, it's not going to happen. There are multiple identity shifts. So just getting to that first 7 figures, it's such a big wall. And 96% of all businesses in the world do not do 1 million in revenue. That tells you like a lot of people are unable to shift their identity. They're unable to be coachable or teachable or trainable. They rely, they always look at what they've done in the past, which stops them from actually moving forward. So I tried, I continued to get pulled back into the technician role. But it was a choice that I was making. And eventually I had to stop making that choice and accept my new identity as a business owner. Okay, number four. Number four is the reason people are able to win in business or not. It has to do with how much confidence they have in their ability to make stuff happen. They call this self-efficacy. I have to believe that, and I have to have trust in myself. And along with that, I also have to have trust in others. If I can't trust others, if I can't become interdependent in my business, then I'll stay independent, which means it's just me that I'm relying on. And a lot of people, most people, don't rely on themselves because all the time they're breaking agreements with themselves. They always say like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to lose the weight, which I'm going to publicly declare right now. I've got like a little belly. I'm losing it. I'm going to do it. You're going to see like a buff Kelly here before long. It's going to take me a little while, but I've been working out for a long time. Anyhow, I'll move on. I digress. So I have trust and confidence in myself. And because when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Now, I don't do it always as fast as I'd like it to happen. And I don't always get the results the first time around when I say I'm going to do something. One of the things that I want to do in the coaching business is my goal is to make 100 millionaires, like have a net worth of 100 or $1 million for everybody who joins our coaching business. So that is one of my goals. And like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. I know, because building a business doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to collect the people that you need on your team. It takes time to implement the processes that you need. But what I do know is the faster you implement the right processes, the faster you can collect the money to pay those people. So it compounds on itself. And so you grow a lot faster. But you have to develop this confidence and trust in yourself. And part of that comes with keeping your agreements. So when you say you're going to do something, you got to follow through on that and do it. And that's just like, nobody can do that for you. Every time we say we're going to do something and we don't do it, what happens is we start losing trust with ourselves. We have to build that back up. And you can do that through little small wins. So if I say, well, I'm going to make sure I get to the post office tomorrow, and you do it, right? That's a small win. I know it's so little and seems so insignificant, but every little win compounds on itself. So do what you say you're going to do. Keep your agreements. The next one is, if you have this epiphany and you say, man, I get it, Kelly. I do want to grow. I know I can do this. I know I'm capable. I also know it's not going to happen overnight, but I believe in myself, and I'm going to start doing what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to tell the truth about where I'm at, and I'm going to accept the facts that what I'm doing is not working, and I don't know what I don't know, but I am going to be coachable and trainable now. Like, you make all these and you shift your identity. Like, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm no longer going to be a technician. Doesn't mean you won't do some technician skills. Have to use those skills once in a while, but it means that you're moving towards becoming that business owner that you know you're capable of becoming. You've done all this stuff, and then you start telling people about it. And what you find, maybe you get excited, and what you'll find is that people aren't always as excited as you are. And some people they're gonna rain on your parade, and they're gonna make you feel like, and it's not their fault, and it's nobody's to blame. And I'm not saying that you have to completely cut those people out of your life. I'm not saying that. But you have to find a tribe of people who do believe in what you believe, who do want to support you, and who do want to push you up and push you to that next level. So if you don't have those people and you can't find them in your life because you have this grand idea and you've declared that you're going to go somewhere and make something of yourself, well, then you got to go find a tribe of people who also believe in what you believe and who want to see you succeed, and who aren't going to talk trash on you when you do start succeeding. That's number 5. Find your tribe. Number 6 is we have to get past this false belief or misconception around money. I mean, this is a big one. If you're ever going to do 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, you have to get around this belief around money, and that sales is bad. Sales is the lifeblood of your company. And if you've studied anything with any business, you'll understand that if there's no sales, you have no business. So it's not, you've got to change the way you look at sales in your business. And one of the ways we do this is that we have to understand that it's a fair exchange. Like, nobody's getting ripped off. It's just, I'm getting money for the services I provide. And the goal is to increasingly add more and more, or increase and add more and more value into the service you provide for the money you collect. So all of a sudden it becomes like, I'm giving these people all of this for only this amount of money, right? So when we do that, now we can shed the guilt, shed the fear, shed the shame of like trying to ask for money, because we have to get past this. One of the ways to do this, like I said, is we got to understand that when the value exceeds the price, it's a no-brainer for the customer, makes it a no-brainer for you. It makes you get to a point where it's easy to talk about the money. That's number 6. Number 7 is, if you're ever going to go to 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, is every time we find that next step. Like I told you, like if I'm driving from Kansas to California and I look and it's in the dark, and all I can see is that 100 feet in front of me, well, I can find my next step because I see that 100 feet. And what happens a lot of times is people will go say, okay, well, there's my next step. I don't know how to do that. So it's because I don't know how to do that, I'm going to go learn. So we're in this loop of just gathering information, but we don't actually do anything. And I stayed stuck in this loop, and I still, certain parts of my business, my coaching business, I'll get stuck in the same loop. So I have to remind myself, look, I'm a business owner. Yes, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, I'm a teacher, but I am a business owner. So I have to step outside of my identity into this new identity of a business owner. So it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter where you're at in business. There are different levels to this. Every single step that I've talked about, there's different levels. And what you'll find is that you just repeat the pattern over and over and over again. Like you get to another point, like your new level is 1.5 million, let's say, or 2 million. And then you realize after a little bit, you realize that, like, look, what I'm currently doing is not going to get me to 5 million. So I need, and then the whole thing starts all over again. So these are the steps. These are the 7 indicators that will keep you stuck in your business. And I can tell you the number one thing that I did and continue to do is to hire people to help me become interdependent instead of just staying independent. Not only that, go learn from people who have already traveled the road that I'm looking to get to. And here's another thing that I'll just add is that some people will disagree with me about this, but I've seen both worlds. And so one world is that you find somebody who is just a little bit ahead of you, or who has done what you want to do. Or you go to somebody who's doing 10x what you're currently doing. And I can tell you that when you join the 10x type groups, not saying that I'm not combining like 10x, I'm not talking about Grant Cardone, I'm just saying that people who are that much further ahead of you, what I've found is that they've lost touch with where you currently are. And so they want you to implement things that just are not going to get you where you want to go fast enough. So you want to find somebody who is maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of you, but don't go for somebody who's 20x ahead of you. That's just that's been my perception and what I've experienced myself. You just can't relate to what they're doing. It just doesn't work for you. And so find somebody who can get you to your next step, who's not so far ahead of you, so that you can see what that next step is and actually implement real things easily, instead of something that, other people are used to having this ginormous team to just take care of everything for you. So it's not as easy. You gotta crawl before you learn to walk, right? So, and then you gotta learn to walk before you can learn to run. So follow the people who are a little ways ahead of you, get involved with them, take on their belief system. That's a big thing. Like taking on other people's belief system. Just hanging around with me, I'm gonna make you think differently. And when I hang around with or watch and participate in different things of my mentors, they help me shift my thinking on how I think differently. So there's all different levels to this, but get past these 7 indicators, and I promise you're going to have business growth. And I would urge you to hire a coach. I'm going to put a link in the description. You're welcome to join us. You can book a call with me. I'm going to be gone. I'll be here all the way through this week, and then I'm probably going to be gone next week. So book sooner rather than later, and we'll see you on the next video. So hope this helped, guys. Go make money. Boom.